Welcome to another Make Everything video. In this video we're going to be making an all-in-one wall mount, charging station, and battery pack counterweight for the new Oculus Quest. This is going to be the basic layout for the wall mount, which is what we're going to go over first. The controllers and the headset are going to sit on clear polycarbonate mounts. The box itself, which is going to be 12 by 18 and 1 inch deep, that's going to be finished with brushed aluminum tape to give it kind of a sleek and modern look. And this is also going to include a battery charger for rechargeable AA's for the controllers. So first thing we're going to be doing is making the box itself. I have 3 of these size pieces of wood, 1/4 by inch by 24, 3 of those, and then 1 of these, which is 1/4 by 6 by 36 inches. These are all from Hobby Lobby. It's a nice solid ply, there aren't any voids in it, and it's a good kind of already finished wood, and it's cheap and it's small, so you don't have to do much cutting. All the cutting we need to do is cut this in half this way. That'll become our 2 front panels, and then one of these need to be cut in half to be the top and the bottom sides, and both of these need to be cut down to 18 inches to be the left and the right side. So you should end up with 2 18-inch pieces, 2 11 1/8 inch pieces, and 2 18-inch pieces of that. So this will end up being the outside frame, and then these 2 pieces will sit like that, so we'll have a nice little box. So next step is glue these frame together, and then once that's dry, glue this on top of the frame. Alright, so after gluing, we've got our box here. It's the box. So next step is just lay everything out, drill the few holes we need to for the cords coming through and going into it, and that'll be that. So this is what it's going to look like from the front. This is the layout of it. We'll have a little hook here on both of these. We have our rechargeable battery charger, and then up here there'll just be a piece of polycarb that'll go right there and that'll sit on. This will have a battery pack on the back. That'll be another part of the video. The battery pack stays connected to the Quest at all times, so you don't actually need to charge the Quest, you just charge the battery pack and that charges the Quest in turn. So there'll only need to be 1 cord coming from probably here up to charge the battery pack. And then the only other cord is the cord that plugs into the top of this. So you'll just need to have a hole here and a hole up here. And then the back will pretty much just be like this. This is just goes from a wall plug to 4 USB. So this will be for the battery charger, and then this cable will go through here, and that'll be what actually plugs into the power bank at the back. So we're just going to drill hole there, and a hole on the end as well for this to go through. So you'll just have 1 plug straight into a wall outlet, and that'll charge everything on the front of this. Alright, so we've got hole drilled there, hole drilled there. So this will just come through like that, and then this is what will plug into the power bank. These holes don't really need to be pretty. I'm going to put like a little washer stack on top of them, on top of the foil that'll be on the wood, so it looks like a nice little port. Yeah, so next step is lay out all the wiring on the back and glue everything down so it's not just sitting there. In addition to the 2 holes, also cut a notch in the bottom here for the wall plug to go into. I'm just going to epoxy this in place so it doesn't move. So next up we're going to do the mount for the headset. This is going to be a little piece of plexi right here. I'm going to say plexi, I mean Lexan. Don't use plexiglass if you can avoid it. Lexan's a lot better, it doesn't shatter, you can just cut it with a bandsaw or whatever. Anyways, Lexan's going to go here. Just about this wide across, I'm just going to cut a strip and then kind of bend it so that it's flush here, so I can have two little spots to screw it in on either side. Nice. So we have this piece here, which matches the profile on the underside of that. And then two bent pieces, so this will all go together like this. And then these two holes will just be bolted into the board, and that'll sit on there. So I'm just going to glue these three pieces together. I'm just using GB Weld Clear Weld. I'm going to sand this where they're meeting just a little bit, because sometimes epoxy doesn't like to stick to completely smooth acrylic. Alright, so this is now all epoxied together. So you can see that clear epoxy works very nicely. That is the mount that the head strap will sit on. And it's going to go right about there on the board. I'll just have two bolts that go through it. So the head strap will sit there, and the battery charger will be down here. Next thing we got to do is cut two more little hooks of plexi for the controllers, which will be here and here. So we just need the little hooks for the plexi right about there. And then that'll be all the pieces that need to be cut for the front. Then we just gotta cover everything in the aluminum tape and make everything look pretty. Alright, so we've got our two little pieces here. They are going to look a little different just because you have to kind of adjust the angle of this end piece here to get it a perfect fit. Just got to kind of play with the angle of this, exactly where that is, just to get that so it's nice and even. And so it's a little different visually for both of them, but they both end up having it even here. Alright, so we got everything bolted in now. So basically, when you're done with it, just put that on there. This goes in here, and this goes in here. Bam. And then this will, that'll go there. Alright, so now that this is all covered, next step is to make it look like brushed aluminum. This is just a Scotch-Brite pad. I just had one for the grinder laying around, so I was using that. You can just use any sort of Scotch-Brite pad. The more coarser ones I find work a little bit better, but it depends on exactly what sort of look you're going for. So yeah, just in one direction until it looks nice. Alright, so this is what it looks like after it's been brushed. Looks pretty nice. So next thing to do is to make just a little thing to go over here with this hole that's the size of the cord itself, so I can cut that little piece of wood in half and then glue it all down there so there's not a big gaping hole for there and also for here. Right, so just cut two squares out of the leftover pieces I had for the side. Just going to drill a hole through the center. Alright, so we got both those cut in half now with the holes drilled through the center. So I'm just going to use like super glue to glue these pieces together around the cord, just about where it needs to be, just to kind of hold them in place, and then epoxy that whole little sandwich, epoxy this whole little thing down to the board so that this can't go anywhere and it's held in place. This one you only need about that much length on it because this is plugging into the battery pack, which will be right here, battery charger rather, and that one probably just need about that much because that's going to charge in the battery pack, and that can kind of change exactly where it is depending on how you have the headset adjusted. So yeah, it's going to do that. It's going to glue those down and then epoxy it down to the board. So that's what it's going to look like. I forgot to mention, obviously you need to cover this in the aluminum tape and brush that as well. So we've got our two things, and I'm just going to epoxy this down to there for the top and the bottom. Alright, so here it is with everything glued on. This now doesn't look awful. Got our plug for that. This is all glued up. We've got this glued on here. And then around the back, just those two plugged into there. I'm just going to get some twist ties, kind of make this a little neater, probably put a couple little dabs of just hot glue or something, so they don't wobble around or anything. Alright, so everything's on there now. This is what it'll look like when the Quest isn't on it, and this is what it'll look like with everything attached. So the Quest will just go here, the battery pack, which will be a different part, just plugs in there. It's the only thing you actually have to physically plug in. The controllers just come on and off like that. Super simple. And then the battery charger down here. I really like this specific battery charger. All the electronics and stuff for this will be in the description, like the specific ones I used, because the cord that goes from the battery pack to the Quest has to be especially good because that's the one that's actually doing the fast charging. But this is also just super nice because it does individual battery charging. You don't have to do in pairs, and it also looks nice because it's got this nice little LED screen that'll tell you when each one's charged. So yeah, so that's the end of this part. Next part of the video is going to be doing the power bank and counterweight back there, and that'll round out this whole entire thing. But if you don't want to do the power bank, you can just do it like this, and instead of this hole being here, just have it down here so you can charge the Quest directly.